Hello everyone. Today we will talk about Noah's family. And usually the events of in Noah's time are separated in two types: the flood events with Noah's Ark, and the second event is the event of Noah and his son Ham. So and I was thinking why everybody talk about Noah situation in these two events, and this is divine principle is separating them in two types: foundation of faith and foundation of substance. The first event of the flood and the ark, it is basically the event that was relating to the foundation of faith. And the second event, which is the event that happened between Noah and his son Ham, is the event which is related to the foundation of substance. And let's see what divine principle says about events in Noah's family. And let's remember that the purpose of the behind the God's providence is to build the foundation for the Messiah, and all that happens in Adam's family was God was behaving but guiding providence in this way in order to build the foundation for the Messiah, in order for God to send later on that foundation the Messiah, so he could uh, restore the world to its original purpose, the original ideal of creation. So the Adam's family was the first family, and we know that in that family it wasn't a success because it happened the first murder. The Cain killed Abel, and we know because of that the foundation for the Messiah wasn't built. And God is after 10 generation is choosing another person from among the Adam's third son Seth. He chose Noah. 10 generations after Adam. So let's go into the story. Section 2. This is section 2 from the first chapter, from the second part of the divine principle, which is the section is called the providence of restoration in Noah's family. God had predestined absolutely the fulfillment of the purpose of creation. His will remained unchangeable. So, despite the failure in Adam's family, God is continuing His providence. God is doesn't giving up on humanity. So, when in the Bible it says that God knows the beginning from the end, Alpha to Omega. God knows that ideal of creation that He predestined will be achieved. Uh, this is He is absolutely convinced that it will be achieved, and that's why He absolutely predestined that this will be achieved. However, the way it will be achieved can be in a short time or can be in the long time, can take thousands of years. So this depends not on God, that depends on the people, whether the people will be able to will fulfill their responsibility or not. So God actually is working through Abel. Through from Abel's victory, God had a merit. From Adam's family, there is not everything failure. There was a victory. The foundation of faith, the offering was made successfully. God accepted that offering, and Abel was that that point from where God continued the providence. Upon the foundation of Abel's loyal heart toward heaven, God chose Seth, and from his descendants, God chose Noah's family to substitute for Adam's family. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son and called his name Seth, for she said, God has appointed for me another child instead of Abel, for Cain slew him. In Genesis chapter 4, verse 25. So it was 10 generations from Adam to Noah. In biblical years, it was 1600 years. You know, the 10 generations is about, a generation is like 10, 40 years or something like that. But here we have 1600 years. Why is that much long period of 10 generations? That is because in that time, either people live longer, either the calculation of years was different. I'm not sure what was the reason, but I think probably because people in that time were living longer. This is still not real. I don't know exactly what is the reason. Probably they were calculating the years differently than now. Probably they live longer. I don't know. Let's. But anyway, it was 10 generations, and it calculated as 1600 biblical years. So God chose Noah. You see, God chose Noah after 10 generations. So God cannot work directly after Abel. God has to wait for 10 generations. So God has, in order for God to choose Noah, there should be a foundation for God to be able to choose a person like Noah. So that is also an indication that for God to send the Messiah, need a foundation. Foundation needed for the prophets, for the people who are in central position to continue the providence, for Noah, for Abraham, for Moses. This was for these people to appear. There were foundations of generations. So this is why God needs foundation to send Messiah. So Noah's family was to fulfill the Edenic conditions to restore the foundation of faith, and then the foundation of substance. God called Noah for the purpose of fulfilling the will which he had intended to realize through Adam's family. Noah was the central figure to restore the foundation of faith. Enduring all kinds of derision and mockery, he worked to build the ark in absolute obedience to God's instructions. So, enduring all kinds of derision and mockery. So, we can conclude that when Noah was building the ark, there were people who live around there also, and they were all mocking and Noah for what he was doing. They were all thinking that he was a crazy guy. So God received the revelation from God to build the ark, and he was building the ark, most importantly, on the top of the mountain. So people were wondering, this is really very unusual, because if you want to build a boat, you can build it near the sea or somewhere near the water, but Noah built it on the top of the mountain. So people thought this is a crazy guy, and they all looked at him in this way, but despite this, he was continually building the ark and working. So we can tell about the Noah's character, because he was very uh, he very well loyal to God's commandment, and despite the persecution, he didn't flinch. He didn't change his mind. We can learn this from Noah. This is actually very good lesson we can learn from Noah. We can, when we have some conviction in something, despite what people say, we don't need to change our conviction. So this is an absolute heart that we can learn from Noah, to have this kind of faith. Although we commonly regard Abraham as the first father of faith, Noah was to have had that honor. As we shall see, it was due to his son Ham's sinful act that the mission and honor was transferred from Noah to Abraham. So God's plan was for Noah to become the first father of faith, but God couldn't do that. Noah wasn't able to become the first father of faith, and instead of Noah, 10 generations after Noah, Abraham became the first father of faith. So divine principle doesn't just say what happened. It's saying that what God wanted to happen originally, what was planned, what was the plan, and what would happen. So this is the unique point about the divine principle, which I encourage everybody to learn. You can learn many things about what God's vision was, purpose was, strategy was, and what, instead of what he was planning to do, what happened instead of that, and how God was working based on the results of the deeds that happened, how he was adjusting his providence. So this is how the divine principle describes the whole providential history. So we know that to build the foundation of faith, there need to be a central figure or central person. The foundation of faith need the central figure. The three conditions: central figure, an offering, symbolic offering, and a time period. Adam could not restore the foundation of faith. Abel made a symbolic offering. Noah's situation was different. So we remember, in Adam's family, Adam didn't make any offering. Adam wasn't chosen to be the central figure for building the foundation of faith after they fell. So Adam was the central figure to build the foundation of faith before he fell. But after he fell, God chose Abel to be the central figure. But in Noah's case, God didn't choose Noah's sons to be the central figure, but God chose Noah himself to be the central figure. That's the difference between Adam's family and Noah's family. This is one difference. Noah was called by God upon the foundation of Abel's loyal and faithful heart. So we see this, the merits, the victory that Abel brought contributed to the providence in this way, that God was able, based on the merit of Abel, to choose Noah and to work through Noah directly as a central figure. to build the foundation of faith. Noah was a descendant of Seth, who had been chosen to replace Abel. Furthermore, Noah was a righteous man in Genesis chapter 6:9. Thus, he was qualified to make the symbolic offering. So, to be qualified to be chosen to be the central figure, the person should earn some need to be earned that position. So in the Bible doesn't say what Noah did that qualified him for God to choose him to be the central figure. In Abraham, we know that God sent Abraham to Egypt, and he portrayed himself and his wife as brother sister. He gave his wife to Pharaoh, and after received the wife back from the Pharaoh. So this was because of that victory that Abraham made. He was qualified to be the central figure for the offering. In Noah's case, the Bible doesn't describe any of such story. Perhaps was something like that, we don't know. But however, Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generation. So there are words like that in the Bible. So this is an indication that Noah did something, proved that he is qualified to be the central figure for the offering, for building the foundation of faith. The ark was full of symbolic significance. So the offering that God asked Noah to bring was not an animal but to build the ark. The offering was the ark itself. And the ark itself was full of symbolic significance. First, Noah had to make an indemnity condition for the restoration of the cosmos, which had been lost to Satan due to Adam's fall. The object Noah offered should symbolize the new cosmos. The ark, built with 3 decks, symbolized the cosmos which had been created through the 3 stages of the growing period. So the 3 stages of the growing period is everything that God created are going through a growing period. Even human beings, they are first the children, they are middle age, they are like puberty, and after they are reach adulthood. It's kind of three stages. The flowers also, they are budding, they are small, they are growing a little bit bigger, and after they become, when is considered the growing period completed is when the person is able to produce fruits, or the trees can make fruits. So that is the cosmos itself was created through this principle, and that's why the ark was built with 3 decks, which also in the sense represents symbolically the way God created the whole universe, a whole cosmos. The animals brought into the ark symbolize the entire natural world. The 8 members of his family represented the 8 members of Adam's family who had to be restored through indemnity. Symbolic restoration of human beings and symbolic restoration of cosmos. The foundation of faith is not substantial restoration, it's a symbolic restoration. But before going to the substantial restoration, it has to have a symbolic restoration first, because you cannot build the foundation of substance if there is no foundation of faith. Okay, let's go next. The members of Noah's family symbolized humanity. Noah, master of the ark, was also in the position to symbolize God. So we see in the ark is encompassing all the cosmos. So cosmos is composed of the universe, all material world, including space and time, human beings, which is Noah's family, and Noah's family represents human beings, animals represent the creation, and God also is part of the universe, which is represented by Noah. So God chose a 40-day period for the flood to eliminate sinful humanity in order to raise up a family who would relate only with Him. So the purpose of the flood was for God to have a new beginning with a new family. So in order to send the Messiah, if the Noah's family will be successful in building the foundation for the Messiah, God will send the Messiah in Noah's family, and the providence would be fulfilled, completed in Noah's time. So that was God's plan. The number 40 thus becomes characteristic of future dispensations for calling God's people out from the satanic world. So we now see the number 40 in the Bible appearing in many times in the Bible. In Moses' life, Moses had a 40-day fasts, 40 days spying in Canaan, 40 years wandering in wilderness by the Israelites. In ancient Israel, we see 40-year reigns of King Samuel, David, King Saul, David, and Solomon. Elijah's 40-day fast. In Jesus' life, we see Jesus' 40-day fast, 40 days from Jesus' resurrection to his ascension. By building the ark and passing through the 40-day flood judgment, Noah fulfilled an indemnity condition for the restoration of the cosmos. The flood corresponds to the period of chaos before the creation of the universe, when the Spirit of God was moving over the face of the waters. Genesis chapter 1 verse 2. So we see everything what's happened is symbolize the whole process of creation, not just the creation, but also the process of creation. In the Bible, we read that at the end of 40 days of rain, Noah sent forth from the ark a raven and a dove. Genesis chapter 8 verses 6 to 7. Let us examine what future providential situations these foreshadowed. In Amos chapter 3, verse 7, there is a saying that surely the Lord God does nothing without revealing his secret to his servants, the prophets. So the events that happened in Noah's when he was sending out the raven and dove have some kind of prophetic meaning. Noah sent forth a raven which circled about looking for a place to land. It signified that Satan would be looking for a sinful condition through which he could invade Noah's family, just as he invaded Eve and Cain in Adam's family. So raven symbolized Satan. So in this, when Noah's family symbolized Adam's family before Adam fall. So the Satan is doesn't exist inside Adam's family. Satan, Noah sent him away. So, however, Satan is looking for a way to invade Noah's family, as he was looking for to invade Adam's family, which he succeeded in Adam's family. He looking for an opportunity to invade Noah's family, looking for a sin. So waiting for Noah's family to make a sin, so he would claim Noah's family. So the way he claimed Adam's family. What was foreshadowed when Noah sent forth the dove 3 times? Besides the raven, Noah sent also the dove 3 times. Although it is written in the Bible that Noah sent out the dove to see if the water had subsided, that was not its only purpose. Noah could have looked out to examine the situation himself. So that's why Noah could see sorry, Noah could see that there is no land. However, he was, I think he was guided by God to behave in this way, to send the dove regardless of whether he see the land or not see the land. He needed to do this action. So that's, and this has also symbolized something, has some prophetic meaning. The dove, when it was sent out the first time, flew about, but then returned to the ark because it found no place to land. Noah took it back inside. Seven days later, Noah sent forth a dove a second time. Still the water had not yet dried. And again the dove returned. This time the dove carried in its mouth an olive leaf, indicating that there would be a place for it to land the next time. After another 7 days had passed, Noah sent out the dove for a third time. This time the dove did not return to the ark, for the ground was dry. The dove, when it was sent out the first time, represented the first Adam. God hoped that his ideal would be realized in Adam. Due to Adam's fall, God could not realize the divine ideal on earth through him. God thus had to withdraw his ideal from the earth for a time and postpone its fulfillment to a later date. When the dove was sent out the second time, it symbolized the divine ideal through Jesus, the second Adam. Jesus too had nowhere to lay his head. In the Luke chapter 9 verse 58, there is these words, nowhere to lay his head, when he was talking about the foxes have places to stay, everybody have place to stay, but the Son of God has nowhere to lay his head. In Luke, there are these words has Jesus is saying, and returned to God's bosom. Yet Jesus left behind the promise of his return. That's the meaning of the olive leaf, that Jesus had resurrection, had the victory of resurrection and the promise of return. In that situation, the waters had not yet dried up. By analogy, the Jewish people did not faithfully attend Jesus. Jesus was unable to secure a place to stand among them. The dove sent out for the third time symbolized Christ at the second advent, who is to come as the third Adam. This foreshadowed that when Christ comes again, he will surely be able to realize God's ideal on earth. So the reason that dove the third time when was sent didn't return symbolized that the return of Christ would be successful, and he would complete fulfillment of God's ideal on earth. The dove story should be interpreted as foreshadowing the prolongation of God's providence of restoration if human beings fail in their responsibility. So Christians believe that Jesus fulfilled everything, and however, if Jesus would fulfill everything, he wouldn't need to return. That's why divine principle is saying that Jesus wasn't able to completely fulfill his mission, not because of Jesus, but because of people who failed to build the foundation for Jesus and failed to believe in Jesus. So that's the reason the mission of Jesus wasn't complete when Jesus was on earth. That's why Jesus said that he has to return. However, the olive leaves symbolize the victory that Jesus brought despite the failures of people. Jesus was successfully fulfilled spiritual salvation. through his resurrection. So resurrection doesn't mean complete salvation. Resurrection mean the victory of Jesus is a spiritual salvation. People who believe in Jesus during their earthly life, they are going to paradise. That's the meaning of spiritual salvation. However, on earth, people living like Jesus' body was struck by Satan. While on earth, people are attacked by Satan. So that's why uh, Jesus has to return, because God is not satisfied with this condition of human beings. Like, you will have to be attacked by Satan while you live on earth. You will have original sin. You need to be baptized, and people will have to, just if they believe in Jesus, be enter a realm after in hereafter where Satan cannot invade them. So this is the situation that happens. So God wants to completely eradicate any trace of Satan. So that's why he wants to send said for Christ to come again. That's the reason Christ needs to return. Due to Adam's faithlessness and failure, Jesus had to come as the second Adam. If the Jewish people disbelieved and failed, Christ would certainly have to come again as the third Adam. Noah finally disembarked from the ark and walked upon the earth, which had been made anew. This foreshadowed the new Jerusalem descending from heaven, and God dwelling with human beings. In Revelation chapter 21, verses 1 to 3, sorry. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. Revelation chapter 21, verses 1 to 3. Noah successfully restored through indemnity the foundation of faith by fulfilling the dispensation of the ark, and thereby making a symbolic offering acceptable to God. So the foundation of faith was successfully fulfilled. So 120 years Noah was building the ark. There was 40 days of judgment of the flood, and there was 7 days after those 40 days. There were 21 days of descending forth and back the doves. 7-day intervals releasing the doves. And finally, when they settle on land, this was complete. This was completion of the foundation of faith. In so doing, Noah fulfilled both the indemnity conditions for the restoration of all things and the symbolic restoration of human beings. God bestowed his blessings upon Noah. Be fruitful and multiply, in Genesis chapter 9 verse 7. In this sense, Noah was the second ancestor of humanity. This blessing originally was in God gave to Adam and Eve. Be fruitful and multiply and have dominion over the every creature that flies and creeps and walks the earth. So the in Genesis chapter 1 verse 28. So God again giving the same blessing to Noah. This means that Noah is in the position of a second ancestor of humanity, because all God wanted to restore Adam's family through Noah's family. So this is all these events is representing the fulfillment of the foundation of faith. So we are coming to the point when God is preparing to fulfill the foundation of substance. So foundation of faith was successful. Upon this foundation, Noah's sons, Shem and Ham, were then to have stood in the position of Cain and Abel, respectively. Shem was older son, Ham was younger son. So upon the foundation of faith, God is conducting the providence of building the foundation of substance through Noah's sons, Shem and Ham, as was similar in a situation with in Adam's family with Cain and Abel. Had they succeeded in the substantial offering by fulfilling the Edenic condition to remove the fallen nature, they would have laid the foundation of substance. And by building the foundation of faith and foundation of substance, the foundation for the Messiah is built, and God can send Messiah to Noah's family. What's meaning of substantial offering? It's explained very well in Adam's family. However, I will mention here about the fallen nature. This is a for substantial foundation of substance to be built between, in this case, Shem and Ham, should be removal of fallen nature by the son who is in Cain's position. In this case is Shem. So the four major fallen natures are failing to take God's standpoint, leaving one's proper position, reversing of dominion, and multiplying criminal act, multiplying evil. So these are four fallen natures, which the person who is in Cain's position has this negativities, these fallen tendencies, and he has to overcome these tendencies toward the person who is in able position. So let's see what happened in Noah's family. So for an acceptable substantial offering, Ham, Noah's second son, was to restore the position of Abel, thus becoming the central figure for the foundation of substance, just as Abel was. So Ham is the second son, just the way Abel was in Adam's family. So he is in the position to become the central figure for the foundation of substance. So for the foundation of faith, the central figure was Noah in Noah's family. However, for the foundation of substance, the central figure God is choosing Ham to be. God, Abel, and Cain, if they unite, centering on God, the foundation of substance is built. Let's see what happened in Noah's family. Okay, the in position of Abel is Ham, who is the central figure for the substantial offering. And Shem, who is older son, is in the position of Cain. In Adam's family, Abel had successfully made the symbolic offering to be qualified as the central figure of the substantial offering. So in Adam's family, Abel to be qualified in the position of central figure of the substantial offering, he successfully made the foundation of faith. He made a successful offering. So that qualified him to be in the position of central figure for the foundation of substance. However, in Noah's case, let's see. In the case of Noah's family, it was Noah, not Ham, who made the symbolic offering. So Noah fulfilled the foundation of faith, not Ham. Noah offered the ark as a symbolic offering. So the offering was successful. The foundation of faith built successfully. Now let's see what happened for this foundation of substance. For Ham to stand as one who has made the symbolic offering, he had to become inseparably one in heart with his father Noah. Let's read one more time. For Ham to stand as one who has made the symbolic offering, he had to become inseparably one in heart with his father Noah. So Ham to be qualified to be the central figure for building the foundation of substance, to be in the position of Abel toward the Shem, he supposed to inherit Noah's victory, Noah's foundation, his father's foundation of faith. It wasn't just because you are second son, you're automatically in the position of central figure. It has to be a process of filial piety between father and son. We know that if you study Abraham's family, there was this bond between Abraham and his son Isaac. However, in the case with Noah and Ham, there was some problems. Let's see what happened. Let us examine how God worked to help Ham become one in heart with Noah. So there are many people who give various interpretations of what happened between Noah and his son Ham. Like, however, this is the interpretation of divine principle, that it wasn't just happened just between, like, how to say, no, randomly, some, like, Noah just get drunk and Ham uh, judged Noah. It wasn't just like that. It was a situation organized by God in this way. God put Ham in this situation to, so if Ham would be able to look at his father Noah, respect his father, honor his father, even when seeing his father in this kind of situation, he would be uh, develop his filial piety, and he would become qualified to be in the position of central figure for the foundation of substance. So it wasn't a random situation between people, but it was a situation which was uh, organized by God in this way. So we can also think about our life. We The situation that happens in our life are also organized by God. God creates circumstances where we are put in a position to make a choice, and those choices will determine our the way we grow in our heart. We grow in right way, or we grow in the wrong way. So this is how God is helping human beings to grow. He creates circumstances where we make choices, and based on those choices we are growing toward God or devolving in toward hell, growing toward God or regressing toward hell. So that is the way how God works in our lives. In Genesis chapter 9, verses 20 to 21, Noah was the first tiller of the soil. He planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and became drunk, and lay uncovered in his tent. The Bible reports that Ham saw his father lying naked in his tent. Ham felt ashamed of Noah and took offense. Ham stirred up the same feelings in his brothers Shem and Japheth. He multiplied this. This was Ham was looking at Noah, and he was judging Noah in a sense. He was has has not does didn't have a respectful attitude toward his father. So a filial child, when he would see his father in this way, he would have some understanding and respect for the father, and he would treat the father uh, with with this kind of heart of filial piety. However, the Ham's heart was very judgmental. He was looking at his father, and he was trying to make this scene into some to make it seem it much more bad than it was. To using this sin, Ham wanted to use this sin of his father Noah to portray his father as in a bad light. So that was the content of his heart, was this kind of disrespect, unfilial heart toward his parent. So that was, it wasn't that just Ham made this mistake action, this bad action. It was more deeper than that. It was, his heart was disrespectful, and but if Ham in that situation would he would have a little bit more sense. He would, even he didn't have really a filial heart, but if he would have a little bit more sense, and he would try to think about his father's how his father saved their lives through the flood, how everybody died but their family was saved, how his father was enduring this, all this 120 years. He should have such an admiration for his father. He should have such an respect, and all of that history should help him to develop this admiration and respect and filial piety toward his father. But he apparently he didn't have that kind of heart. So God wanted to give Ham put him in a situation so he would have one more chance to develop this kind of heart. Also, it would demonstrate whether Ham is qualified to be the central figure for the potential offering or not. But Ham didn't do correct. Didn't act as a filial son toward his father. This act constituted a sin, so much so that Noah rebuked Ham, cursing his son to be a slave to his brothers. We see in Genesis chapter 9 verses 20 to 25. So this appears that is not really some terrible sin. However, in the providence, in like Noah's family represented Adam's family, and there was the raven, the Satan was looking for a condition to invade and profane the foundation that Noah's family was building, and to take it for himself. So that's why Noah was so upset at his son Ham. He was cursed his son to be a slave to his brothers. It appears that why, because of such a kind of small, not insignificant, not really that significant action, such a big curse. However, there was a special situation for the beginning of humanity. The way Adam and Eve fell, it was a similar gravity of the mistake. In that sense, we need to see the situation. Why was it such a grave mistake from the part of Ham toward his father? Why was it such a sin to feel ashamed of nakedness? To understand these matters, let us first recall what constitutes sin. Satan cannot manifest his powers, including the power to exist and act, unless he first secures a common base and has give and take action with an object partner. This is some terminology from the first chapter, from the first part of the divine principle. It's called the principle of creation. So to understand what's give and take action mean and what's an object partner, common base, it's important to read that chapter. And Satan, but to explain here a little bit, Satan, how Satan is able to exist. Satan exists, he receives power from relationship with people. From when people make sins, they relate with Satan, and this become from this relationship is called give and take action with Satan. Satan receives power from those relationships. Satan receives a power, and he, based on this power, he can exist and thrive. But when there is no give and take action with Satan, centering on Satan, Satan is unable to exist. So that's how Satan can exist and manifest his powers. Yeah, you see here, Satan, he was able to create give and take action with Eve, and this is how he came to exist. Whenever Satan invades, a person has allowed himself to become Satan's object partner, thereby empowering Satan to act. This constitutes sin. Noah's position right after the flood was much like that of Adam after the creation of heaven and earth. Before the fall, Adam and Eve were not ashamed of their nakedness. After they fell, they felt ashamed of their nakedness, covered their low parts, and hid themselves, fearing that God would see them. Genesis chapter 3, verses 7 to 8. Okay, now I realize myself, right now I realize something about this, about the story of Noah and how it's related to the story of Adam and Eve. God, in the story between Noah and Ham, God created the circumstances where Noah lie naked. And I'm now thinking, why wouldn't God recreate different circumstances? Why he created circumstances relating to nakedness? God could create different kind of circumstances for Ham to develop Ham's heart. Why exactly this way? And this is the answer just right now I realize, because in the principle of restoration is the principle of reverse course. So reverse course from the fall. So the fall happened that in the way that Adam and Eve were naked and were ashamed of their nakedness. So this should be restored, and the ashamed of nakedness and the being naked. So the nakedness is involved in restoration of this situation with Adam and Eve. So that's why God created the situation with nakedness. In this case, Noah was lying naked, and God wanted to restore the nakedness that was uh, happened, the situation with nakedness in Adam's family. So that's why nakedness is involved. This is what I realize now. This shame was an indication of their inner reality, for they had formed a bond with Satan. Their guilty consciences made them ashamed before God. To secure the position of Adam, God expected Noah's family to react to Noah's nakedness without any feelings of shame and no thought to conceal his body. Had Ham been one in heart with Noah, regarding him from God's standpoint, he would have fulfilled in Noah's family the state of Adam and Eve's innocence before the fall. So that was how God wanted to restore the state of and Eve's innocence before the fall. Innocence, even though they were naked, they had no feelings of shame. They have feelings of innocence. So that God wanted to restore that through Ham and Noah's situation. Ham thus would have fulfilled the Edenic condition to restore in Noah's family the state of Adam and Eve's innocence before the fall. Okay, one more thing. There is a notion, presumption of innocence. This is also very wonderful notion which is used in jurisprudence. So this is even the jurisprudence is trying to having this understanding of presumption of innocence before proven guilty. So the meaning of presumption of innocence is to see the people who are suspects, who are who people might consider criminals, see them as innocents, as not criminals, until they are proven that they are criminals, that they are guilty. So this is how the correct way to look in jurisprudence is considered. So this is also, I see, in the Noah's family, God wanted to have this type of attitude from from Noah's son Ham toward Noah. So this way to be restored the situation in Adam's family. So the presumption of innocence in the jurisprudence is actually biblical. Ham thus would have fulfilled the central figure position for the substantial offering. So we said that for Ham to be chosen to be the central figure for the substantial offering, he's supposed to become one in heart with Noah. So by having a presumption of innocence, by looking at Noah with correct attitude with a filial as a filial son, he would be able to would become qualified to become the central figure for the substantial offering. The substantial offering would be happen between him and his brother Shem. Unfortunately, since Ham could not establish the foundation of substance, the providence of restoration in Noah's family ended in failure. Ham could not establish the foundation of substance because he even didn't he didn't build himself, he didn't earn himself to be qualified to be to be in the position of central figure to build the foundation of substance. So building the foundation of substance even didn't start. He failed before building the foundation. He failed to be qualified to start to build foundation because he wasn't able to inherit Noah's Noah's foundation of faith, his father's foundation of faith. You see how they cover Noah by not looking at him. So this picture illustrates the multiplying of evil. So it illustrates that Ham had this incorrect way of looking at his father. So he already this picture kind of telling that he was telling to his brothers how awful their father is, how crazy, how he's senile or whatever. He expressed a big disrespect toward his father by using this case, and this way he made his brothers also to disrespect his father. So their father. This is the picture. The picture is kind of expressing the emotion behind, expressing the failure of Ham. And we see here this raven circling. So raven is catching this. He's looking for an opportunity to invade, and he saw this opportunity. He saw the fail to build the foundation of substance, and that's why when Noah wake up, he cursed his son so strongly. So this is the reason for this failure of Noah's family and for this strong curse. Satan, like the raven hovering over the water, was looking for a condition to invade Noah's family. When Ham felt ashamed of his father's nakedness and acted to cover it up, he made a condition for Satan to enter. This constituted a sin. Satan took Noah's sons as his abject partners, like Adam's family after the fall. They formed a shameful bond of kinship with Satan. Is it always sinful to regard nakedness with a sense of shame? No, Noah's case was special. It was an indemnity condition which only Noah's family was required to fulfill. Ham knew well that his family had been saved by his father's labors. Ham knew all this history. Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generation. Noah walked with God. Genesis chapter 6 verse 9. Ham knew all of this. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. Genesis chapter 9 verse 1. Considering these things, Ham should have had such respect for his father, yet instead of trusting Noah, Ham criticized him and showed his displeasure by his actions. Humility, obedience, and patience are needed to walk the path toward heaven. God raised up Noah's family at the cost of sacrificing the rest of humanity. So all humanity perished in the flood and the natural world, animals. When Ham made his seemingly small mistake, God's will centering on Noah's family came to naught. So all that God was trying to accomplish through Noah's family was nullified by Ham's mistake, because Satan invaded and profaned all the providence. When Noah's family could not fulfill its responsibility, God, though regretful, did not hesitate to abandon Noah and seek another person in his place. So we see the foundation for the Messiah was not built in Noah's family. So that's why God, after 10 generations after Noah, chose Abraham. Even though God was broken, his heart was broken, God has to abandon Noah and go to the next chapter in his providence. So we can see the heart of God. God's heart is full of pain, emotion. Emotion is full of pain. However, God's heart is also reason. So God also follows the providence, and he, with a crying heart, with a sorrowful heart, he's working forward to find the next person through whom he can recreate all the situation and to again start to build the providence, build the foundation for the Messiah. So we can understand through this God's heart. So imagine ourselves, we need to imagine in this situation, we have some tragedy happen in our life. We have a very painful heart. However, we are keep going, doing the right thing. This is how God is. God doesn't give up on life, even he is in such a difficult situation. He is keep going, following the plan. So perseverance, God's perseverance. So we can also learn from this, from God, how to be strong and persevere through difficulties. Okay, this is the end of the section 2, Noah's family. I welcome everybody to study the divine principle and read the book. There is a book called The Exposition of the Divine Principle. Please read the book. This is the short version. This lecture is just a short version. The book has more many details, and I encourage everyone to try to learn this book. It's a very profound and has a lot of answers to many questions. Thank you very much, and wish you everyone have a nice day.